All right, what's up everybody? Breaking some of the silence here on the YouTube channel because they have announced some of the CrossFit Games individual workouts, namely the 500 meter dash. We're going to talk a little bit about that today and the strategy that you should use for that workout. We know that it's a 550 yard or 500 meter dash. What we don't know is there an event that comes right after it? I remember back in the day we did the 2K all-out row right into a half marathon row, right? So there could be something similar here that could affect the strategy of the event. I also don't know what kind of surface, course, or track that's being used. If it's are there sharper turns? Is it a narrow course? Are you in your own lane? Like, how does any of that work? We don't have the answers to that, but I'm going to approach it from the fact of that you are on a track or on some kind of fairly flat surface running this race, and we're going to break it down meter by meter to 4 different segments of the race and how you want to approach that 500 meter dash. So Clyde Hart was a great coach down at the University of Baylor. He coached Michael Johnson, Jeremy Warner, among a whole bunch of other runners, very good quarter mile coach. And he had 4 Ps that he practiced or taught athletes to focus on in the 400 meter dash. First was push, second is pace, third is position, and the last one is pray. And we're going to utilize pray as well as kick into the equation for this 500 meter dash. All right, so those 4 Ps broken down, 0 to 50 meters, you're going to push out the gate, okay? You need to push out hard. This is a dash. It is a sprint. A little bit longer than the 400, sure, it's still 500 meters. There is still some pacing involved here, but that 0 to 50 meters is almost free, okay? Or like that 0 to 8 second, 6 second mark is you're working off the creatine phosphate system. It's not going to build up any lactic acid or hydrogen ions or whatever you want to call it in your legs. You're not going to lose a whole lot in terms of your energy expenditure in that first 50 meters. So get up to your pace quick, okay? Start fast, almost like you would for a 100 meter dash, right? You want to start fast and get up to a good race pace. The second P is going to be pace. So from 50 to 200 meters, whatever that looks like on the track or on the surface or on the course, you're going to pace yourself. So this is a very, very hard sprint, but it's also a paced sprint. So you're thinking 90 to 95% of maximal effort, right? You're pulling back about 2 gears to a gear from 50 meters to 200 meters. You're establishing your race pace and you're holding that pace consistently. You don't want a whole bunch of slowing down and speeding up from 50 to 200 meters. You want to get out fast, establish your race pace, and hold that pace from 50 to 200 meters. Third P is going to be that position. So 200 to 350 meters, you're going to want to put yourself in a good position to win the last 150 meters. So what does that mean? What does that look like? In this 200 to 350 meters, the general tendency for a lot of people is going to be to back off. They're going to slow down. The burn's going to start to set into the legs. It's going to make them nervous. It's going to make them worried about the race, and they're going to want to slow down, or they've come out so fast that at the 350 meter mark, they're all alone out on an island, but you're gassed. You have nothing left to finish the race. You don't want to have either one of those things be your options. You don't want to be in those positions. It would be better to have a little bit more energy left with 350 meters to go. So position stands for putting yourself in a good position in the pack and in the race to win that last 150 meters, right? So again, you don't want to be way out in front alone on your own island, gassed with nothing left to kick in the last 150. You also don't want to be so far behind that you cannot catch up in the last 150 meters. So you're putting yourself in a good position after you've paced yourself from that 200 meters. Lastly is pray. Why pray? Because this last 100 to 150 meters of the race is the worst. It's going to be the hardest thing mentally, and it's going to be the hardest thing physically to overcome if you've run the race correctly, okay? So pray that you've got something left, right? And outside of praying, what you really want to focus on is your kick. The person who starts passing people in the last 150 meters is not necessarily the person who is running faster than everybody else at that point, but what they're doing is they're slowing down the least. That's what you're focusing on in this last 150 meters, is slowing down the least. When you watch other runners walk other runners down, what's happening there is they've used their energy the most efficiently over that first 400 meters to 350 meters of a 500 meter race. So they're able to kick and slow down the least in the last 150. That enables them to win the race, right? They pushed out the front, they paced themselves, they put themselves in good position in the pack to kick and win the race in the last 150. That's typically where this race is going to be won and lost, is how you handle that last 150 meters. So, what am I focusing on there? Arm drive is my big focus, okay? In the last 100 meters to 150 meters of the race, I'm focusing on driving my arms as hard as possible because my legs will follow. Outside of just arm drive, I'm focusing on recovery. And what do I mean by recovery? Pulling my heel up to my hamstring. That's going to help with my leg lift and also utilize a little bit of what we would call pose running. I'm not going to get a whole lot into that right now, but I'm focusing on arm drive and heel to hamstring recovery as I'm finishing in that last 150. 9 times out of 10, if I pumped my arms harder, if I focused on movement at the shoulder, bringing my fingertips from the tip of my nose back to the tip of my butt, recovering from heel to hamstring, or pumping my arms, my legs would follow. I know there's some different schools of thought there, some people would disagree, but that's what I focused on in the last 100 to 150 meters, driving my arms hard within the proper technique in order that my legs would follow and finish hard through the last 150 meters. Okay, again, just to review, we are going to push the pace from the 0 to 50 meters. From 50 to 200, you want to pace yourself on that back stretch, settling into a good race pace. Position yourself from 200 and 350 meters. You don't want to be so far ahead that you've got nothing left at the end, and you don't want to be so far behind that you cannot catch up. And then 350 to 500, pray that you got something left. Push those arms as hard as you can. Focus on technique, recovery of heel to hamstring, and finish as fast as possible. Hope this was beneficial. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Trying to get the YouTube channel fired back up here. If you have any questions about what we just talked about in terms of sprinting or managing your energy system over the 500 meter race, put it down in the comments below. I'm also going to link another video on the things you want to focus on when sprinting and when running. I did a video not so long ago on running, and we can cue that up and you can utilize that if you are tackling this workout, if you're competing at the games, or if you just want to figure out what your 500, 400 meter dash time is. We'll see you guys next time.